Hello students, now we will study about sexual reproduction. In this video lesson, we will be studying about the germ cells and gametes in detail. In sexual reproduction, we have the cells of two different individuals combining together to give an offspring. It means that the DNA from two different individuals combine to give the DNA of the offspring. Let us see what happens to the DNA number in the offsprings. The DNA number needs to be maintained. That means the offsprings need to have the same number of DNA compared to the parents. But how does it happen? Let's see the DNA of the father first. If you think about the DNA of the cell of the father, the cell must have received one copy of DNA from his mother, let's say A, and one copy of DNA from his father, let's say B. We can say the same thing about the DNA of the cell of the mother. The cell must have received one DNA copy from her mother, say C, and one copy of the DNA from her father, say D. So here also we can see that the parents have two copies of DNA. Now the question arises, how do we transfer these DNA to the offsprings without increasing the number? That is where very important cells come into work. These cells are called germ cells, which are usually found in the gonads. Now, what are gonads? Gonads are the reproductory organs. In human males, gonads would be testes, and in human females, gonads would be the ovaries. Germ cells can produce gametes. Now, what are gametes? Gametes are the sex cells. For example, in human males, the gametes are sperms, and in human females, the gametes are eggs or ova. When a germ cell is ready to divide, it can divide in such a way that the resulting cell would get only half the amount of DNA content. These resulting cells, which only have the half amount of DNA, are called gametes. Now, one of the male gametes fuse with the female gamete to form a new cell. The new cell will contain one half of the DNA of father and other half of the DNA from the mother, and as a result, the offspring ends up having full set of DNA just like the parents. This is how the number of DNA gets maintained in the offspring. And you can see the DNA content of the offspring is unique. That means it is not exactly the same as the father or the mother. Now, if the parents decide to have another offspring, then different gametes will end up fusing, and that will produce yet another unique DNA combination. So even the siblings will have different DNA content, and that is why they also usually don't look identical, even though they come from the same parents. Although the case of identical twins is different. Now in this example, I have shown just 4 strands of DNA, but in actual, we human beings have 23 such pairs. These pairs are termed as chromosomes. When gametes are formed, it is not necessary that each gamete should get all of the content from just one parent. So, maybe this particular gamete can get the first from mother, second from the father, third from the father and fourth from the mother. Or maybe the next one gets a little different. How? It might get the first two from the father, third from the mother, and fourth from the father, and so on. So imagine if you have 23 such pairs, how many varieties can be formed? Therefore, while gametes fuse, different varieties of offsprings can be made. Now remember, the process of fusion of gametes is called fertilization, and after the fusion, the cell that is formed is known as zygote. Male gametes are usually smaller in size than the female gametes. Why? Because the male gametes are motile, that means they can move, whereas female gametes are bulky and non-motile. Why? Because they have to contain the food source for the zygote.